Welcome to this video, everyone. I'm Michael Lewis,
I'm Mason Filippi.
and we're teammates in the Brian Herta Autosport number 98 Hyundai Veloster N TCR in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series. And as you can see, we're both in simulators, and we'll be driving on Watkins Glen in iRacing to prepare for our next scheduled IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge event at Watkins Glen in real life. But as you know, many drivers are driving virtually, so we're going to be driving a little bit, practicing, and also this video is for you guys to get to know a little bit about us. So I'm going to ask some questions about Mason, racing related questions. And then he's going to ask the same thing to me, and we're going to just kind of have a conversation for you guys to learn more about us. And yeah, first of all, before we go into that, hope everyone is okay, during this crazy time, right, Mason? So hope everybody's good.
I hope you guys are staying safe at home and, having a good time at home too, maybe doing some things that you couldn't have before, and, just really taking your time for yourself. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah. So I agree with that. Yeah. Just taking the time for yourself and reflecting on, what's kind of important, which for a lot of race drivers is driving. So we're logging into iRacing a lot. I'll just kick off some questions here for you, Mason. And then we'll start driving and we'll go with that. So let the fans know who Mason Filippi is in like a few sentences in the following way. So Mason, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite car? And what's your favorite thing to do when you're not racing? And favorite car out of the Hyundai lineup. So like out of all the Hyundais out there, what is your favorite one?
all right. Oh man, that's gonna be tough. I mean, I really like eating, but I'd probably have to say a burger is my favorite food. And then, I just love the Veloster and it's so much fun to drive. It's just like so spirited and so much fun. The 6-speed manual, the pops and bangs and everything it has to do with it. It's amazing. When I'm not racing, I really love jumping on iRacing here and kind of doing that, maybe play some guitar and try to find some fun things to do on social media. But, just having a good time on iRacing here and driving with my teammates.
Heck yeah. And like you said, with our teammates, we have like Mark, Gabby, and Ryan often on iRacing too. And that's cool. You play the guitar. Like let some fans know like about like, when you started with that. Like I've seen some photos of you doing that.
Yeah, I was probably like younger. I can't even really remember, but started when I was a kid and kind of just went through high school as kind of a guitar TA, and I stopped playing for a really long time and kind of started picking up again as we have a little bit extra time on our hands. So
yeah,
definitely a good time. But how about yourself? You got to tell me, what's your favorite food? What have you been doing the last few days? I mean, some pretty cool projects going on, and kind of what are you thinking about? Oh, also you should tell us about how Team Avocado kind of started, because that hashtag is really out here on
okay.
Instagram.
So first I'll go with the food. Favorite food right now, I'm gonna go with a burrito with red sauce, a wet burrito.
So good.
Just like when I come home from like say like another country or somewhere, I'm like that's my like comfort food. I love the taste of like a chicken or kind of saw the burrito with everything with the red sauce on it. Love that. And for what I've been up to, it just been actually setting up this simulator rig. So a lot of the fans will just see the screen here, but the computer below me, it's just been built. There's wires everywhere. It's chaos below because I'm setting it up so I can like race with you and all of our friends. And then shout out to Hyundai, by the way. I love the Veloster. We obviously race it. I like the 6-speed manual, but I'm going to go with out of the Hyundai lineup, the Santa Fe, because I can fit everything inside of it, no problem, like my mountain bike. And for the Team Avocado thing, right?
Yeah.
So your question was, how did it come about? So yes, for those fans who don't know, like our number 98 car with Mason and I in it has been kind of like in our team and throughout social media been considered the Team Avocado car. And it's because we're both California, right? And our team was like hating on us about being from California. Our engineers are from California, so John Ward, our lead engineer, Justin Jang, who's a strategist, and like our data engineer, myself and Mason, and also Brian Herta, our team owner, are all from California and living here. So I think that's how it came up, right? Like people were hating on in our team, like, oh, you guys are all from California, you guys love avocados, and like I don't know, you guys do yoga all the time, and all these other California kind of stereotypes.
Yeah. It's hilarious because we love our avocado toast. You put avocado in everything. I think every dinner we go to, back at Daytona, I think we ordered avocado with something, right? And they're like, "Oh, it's Team Avocado," and so we even have like a a squishy avocado doll and some avocado socks that we still rock around. So,
Yeah, going with the avocado meme, man. Dude, by the way, let's drive. Let's just like get going on Watkins, and just kind of like we'll talk and maybe show some fans kind of a little bit about Watkins. But yeah, with the avocado meme situation. By the way, Mason, yeah, I went really all in. He got this like stuffed toy and he put it in the office. So we're living off of it, and thanks to the fans for like kind of supporting that too. Okay, so Mason, so I think you're in. We're on 2 different servers right now because my computer is so new. I can't like connect to his server and race him. So right now we're kind of on the back straightaway, going to the bus stop. Mason, in real life, what is it like to drive on Watkins Glen? Like, what's the first couple impressions you would give to somebody who would go to this track for the first time?
It's one of those tracks where it's a really, really nice facility. It's a good fun track, especially in that Veloster N TCR car. It's a lot of fun, and Brian Harrelsport had an amazing setup on that thing last year, and I just really can't wait to get back driving again. And one of my favorite parts of the track is probably that bus stop that we were just talking about. I mean, you come through there and you are flying into the bus stop, and that Hyundai Veloster N TCR car, it just hooks up so well through there, and it kind of bounces through the bus stop, and it's probably one of the most satisfying feelings when you go through there perfectly. And so that has to be probably one of my favorite parts of the track. But how about you? Like, what would you say that's like your favorite part of the track, or what stands out to you?
Okay, so my favorite part of the track, that's a tough one. Watkins is pretty cool. Just because I'm in the last sector, I'll probably say the last sector. It's really fast. I remember racing 2018 for sure, and then I'll try to think about 2019, but the last 2 corners were so fun, man, like flowing through there. In our car in the Veloster N, like the second to last turn, I think it's just like a tiny tap of the brakes, like barely anything. And you're just flying, and you're hearing the tires screech, and like you're using all the exit curves. So I like the fast turn of the second to last turn.
That's a good time. I think like I remember the first couple times you come through there, and something a little bit faster, and your mirror's like right up against that wall. It's definitely like one of those.
Yeah, that's right. On the right hander, the last turn.
Yeah.
I remember 2018 in qualifying once, like brushed the wall there. Like I was like, yeah, we're gonna park it. Like I did a lap, and it was like my best lap of the session. I'm like, cool, I'll try one more. Right, the classic like.
The last run of the day.
In the last run of the day, like let's try one more lap. So I went around, did one more lap. It was okay, and then I risked a bit more on the last turn and just like caked the left side tires with that blue paint. And I was like, yeah, guys, let's just we're done for this session. But yeah, that was a fun moment, like in terms of just escaping that, I guess. But okay, I'm gonna ask you some more questions, Mason. So with racing for Brian Herta, he's a legend in the game. He's really passionate about racing. What's it like to race on his team?
It's definitely surreal and really incredible to be able to race on his team. And Brian is such a cool and amazing team owner and / mentor, and so it's definitely like a surreal experience. And the whole team is such a great team, and Brian put together and Sean Jones put together such a great team. And with the support from Hyundai and basically everyone on the crew and all the drivers, it's just this really amazing team camaraderie, and it's a ton of fun. I definitely can't wait to get back to it. How about you? Like, what are your thoughts on racing with Brian Harrelsport and Brian Herta? I mean, it's just incredible, right?
Yeah, I'd say all the same things. I mean, Brian, like I think you basically said it with how you described racing for him. I like racing with Brian and his team, and and Hyundai, and everyone, specifically because Brian, he wants to win. He'll do anything it takes to make it happen, right? So if we're saying to Brian, hey, like we kind of need this thing in our car to help us, I don't know, with cooling, just because it's really hot or anything, he'll be like, yeah, let's do it right away, guys. Let's jump on it and build it. So he's like not holding anything back, and I love that.
Always trying to win, and I think just that attitude kind of just flows through the entire team, which makes it incredible.
Yes, yeah. And then you said the camaraderie thing too, like we're all like working together, and we don't see each other so often, but it's like we're all friends, and I feel like a really good vibe when I go to the track, and everyone's kind of like working hard and doing their thing professionally, but they're also like your friend too, and I think that adds something, because it's like you trust each other even more.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we all we haven't seen each other in a bit, but we still jump on iRacing as much as we can, and Michael just finished his sim here, so now there's gonna be all 6 of us on iRacing
Yeah.
following around some laps.
So like you asked a question earlier, like on the intro. By the way, I haven't looked at my lap times. How you doing? I know I turned them off and asked you to turn off the times, but how do you feel like you're doing over there?
It was feeling good. I think me working on the setup a little bit. Haven't driven walking in the Indy car, but it's a good time.
No, yeah, it's hard, man. Like I'm just cruising right now. Like I'll try to maximize the setup and everything after this. But to answer a question you had earlier, you're asking what am I, like what are some projects I've done in the last few days. So one of them you've already lent itself in the question is I've been building a simulator. So just got the parts ordered. Got a chassis here that I'm actually making with my friends. So if anybody wants one, let me know. And so just putting it all together, and it takes time, right? Like you have to order stuff, or I went, for example, to a micro center, it's a computer store nearby, got all the parts, and shout out to Jared Bajou and Joe Pasamonte, I think is his last name, but Joe, for building the computer, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, so that's what I've been doing, just setting up this rig to hang out with you guys. And then also just before that, I kind of was finishing a go-kart, in hopes of driving it soon, which right now I don't think is possible, but an old go-kart that I used to drive, shifter kart, so I can drive that and have some fun and practice. And Mason, tell everybody about like kind of like how you train for racing, which obviously includes iRacing, but it includes go-karting too, right?
Oh yeah, so probably one of my favorite parts about training for racing is getting that shifter kart. And even our engineer John Waters told us stories about how some of the best training comes from driving a shifter kart, and it's so much fun, and you really get that thrill like you're at the racetrack racing in a race. And so I really miss being behind the wheel of that kart, and I want to get back to it again, and hopefully Michael and I can go battle it out on on the track one of these days. And
Yeah, like totally, I want to do it. Like you actually motivated me to get my kart going, like because of the idea of like we have some more time now. Obviously we can't really go anywhere, but when it was more open to go drive up to Sonoma area. So like Mason, you live in Northern California, I live in Southern California, and I was really amped on the idea of like putting the go-kart in the back of the Santa Fe, or somehow getting up there and just doing kind of like a go-kart like surf trip kind of thing.
yeah.
I don't know how to surf, so use the go-kart for that idea.
We're gonna having a good time, and maybe go take the Veloster out and find some cool spots. And
dude, you take some awesome photos. So like I just want to get that out there, like awesome photos taken of the Veloster. And then like you're big on social media, man. Like I think it's awesome what you're doing, getting the word out there about Hyundai, Brian Hurt Autosport, your brand. You're doing a really good job, man. Is there any tips that you would say, or anything that you recommend to somebody who's a race driver or trying to come up with the social media game?
I think that just one thing that I learned and kind of heard and followed some people on social media who give advice is that just don't be afraid to kind of be yourself on social media, and just share what you want to share instead of looking at the numbers and the likes and things like that. Just kind of come up with content that you think is fun, because if you get burnt out, then it's not as fun. And so one thing I like to do is kind of maybe find new spots with the Veloster N, or find something random to do. And I mean, lately I've been just finding things to do at home, and it's been a ton of fun, and I think it's a good time. And I've been doing it with my dad and my family, and so we're all kind of have fun here and trying to make the most of things and make people smile. It's just definitely
cool.
all about that. And yeah, a lot of fun.
I like that. Yeah, about the being like just sharing a good time, like not trying to have any other motive of like just get followers. Understood. So that's awesome. I mean, I really am impressed with your shots, man. Like we love them, man. They're so cool.
Dude,
I think some other things. Hold on. I had some ideas. If you have a question, man, throw it out. But I'm in the boot now.
You're in the boot.
Where are you? Like, after like we started at the same time. Like, where are you now? You're probably ahead of me.
I am. I'm over, and I'm like the toe of the boot.
Oh, me too. Actually, okay.
I see your screen. I'm just ahead of you.
Okay, let me I want to see I'm gonna turn my Delta on and see the lap time, and then see what kind of lap time I can throw down. And then I don't know if you can turn yours on easily, or if you have to exit. I can exit if you want.
I have to go grab some fuel anyway.
Okay.
So,
you're gonna pit? Okay, I'll pit too.
I'm gonna pit, yeah.
Okay, so pit this time, pit this time. So for fans that are watching this who don't know what the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge is, IMSA is a race series that has sports cars in it, like the Hyundai Veloster N TCR, and we do like endurance races with two drivers. Mason and I are in one car, doing like a relay race, and we have pit stops, so to refuel your car. So this is a pretty normal thing. Like, yeah, Mason's rolling down pit lane. Here I am too. It's kind of fun to break up the race, for me at least. I don't know about you, Mason, with pit stops, because it adds another bit of drama, potentially.
And I mean, Brian Autosport, they're amazing at pit stops. They do such a great job. Nate and Zach, and so it's definitely something to learn about. I mean, that was new for me. I came from a lot of sprint racing, and so when all the pit stops started, it was really interesting. I really enjoy it, and it's awesome driving with Michael too, and so it's a good time. But what's your background in racing, Michael? Like, for people who want to know, I mean, Michael's done so many amazing things with different kinds of cars, and definitely super interesting. And I've learned more and more and more because he doesn't share too much about it. And so all this time we spent together, like in India pit fit and things like that, I've been learning more about him, and it's just awesome. So
yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Those nice words about my career. So for those who don't know much about my background, I'm currently driving road racing with Mason here on Brian Hurt Autosports team with the Hyundai Veloster N TCR. But before that, also road racing, but way before that, it was actually oval racing. So I first started driving quarter midgets, which are small, like go-kart sized, vehicles with suspension, like dampers and springs, on small oval circuits. So think of a go-kart with springs on it and a roll cage, like a midget or a sprint car. And yeah, a tiny circuit where you do like 5-second laps or something like that, 4-second laps if you're like crazy fast. So tiny little oval circuit, and you're just driving around full throttle. And that's where I started. It's like really cool. Like I love that sport. I loved all the memories of my dad, and really taught me a lot about being smooth, momentum. It was really important because they're small engines. There were some classes in quarter midgets that had really big engines, but generally, even with them, you had to be really smooth, just like, in bigger cars. So started in quarter midgets, then did go-karts, like the traditional sprint kart, deal like in Europe and everything like that. And I just continued on the road racing route. But in between, like, all these different road racing series I would do, like, an IMSA or Formula 3 or Formula BMW, I would kind of go back to my oval racing roots, and my dad would kind of ask some friends of his who had a car, and kind of ask them if I could race, and we'd kind of work something out. So done a lot of oval racing in addition to the road racing.
Really cool.
And how about you, man? Like, what's your kind of path to how you got to IMSA?
So I did some dirt biking, and then after that I got into karts for not too long, a couple years, and then I did a lot of Spec Miata, and so I did the Team Mazda Challenge, and that was a good time. And after that, I did some IMS5 Cup stuff, and then I went to World Challenge and did some more road racing. So I've kind of been in road racing my entire life, and more touring cars, and so it's been an amazing time. Driven a lot of TCR cars, and I definitely fell in love with that class. But the Hyundai Veloster N TCR car is just so amazing, and it's my favorite car to drive I've ever driven, for sure.
I kind of agree with that. Like for sure, some cars I've driven are faster, and yeah, like I'm gonna say some other ones are really cool too. Maybe it's a tie, but the Veloster N TCR, it provides it's a really good experience to drive. So much grip. That's why I like it a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, so much grip, and like you do some great, like you can carry so much speed in some corners that you would be like, what? How are you doing that? And, in the front wheel drive TCR platform, but it's so much fun, and you kind of get that back end, the elbow to rotate. And so,
yes, the elbow,
it's a great time.
Explain what the elbow is to some people who are listening.
And it's kind of that bite and grab and rotation of the car you get when you're in a corner. It's just kind of a way we used to describe it. So
right, like for example, if you're going into a corner, really fast turn, and you want to stay flat out and just turn aggressively, the car is not going to get loose or awkwardly set. It just, you turn and it just sets right away, and it gets the grip, right? Yeah, the elbow, a word coined by Brian Herta. He brought that up on the team, and when we were describing some characteristics of the car, and we're like, yeah, what's the good word? And we were like trying to describe like this one feeling. He's like, yeah, the elbow. Like, turn into a corner and you put your elbow out, and it's like sticks, right? We're like, cool, yeah, we'll just use that. That makes a lot of sense.
I remember the very first race I did with you guys was the California 8-hour event, and that was like one of the first terms I learned was the elbow, and so
It's so good. Like it's
yeah.
so simple and useful.
So,
How about this? What are, let's say, ways that you improve your driving when you're on a course? So let's say we're at Watson's Glen here. You just did, your first out lap or some laps, and how in your mind on the course, let's go with while you're driving, when you're on the course, do you improve your driving? Like how do you, let's say, attack the track or not? Like what do you think when you're driving to improve, each lap?
so each lap, when you go through a corner, you can kind of look back and see where you can improve. Probably each section at a time. I like to break the track up into a few sections. Some tracks more than other sections, because like for example, Watkins Glen turn 1 kind of through the bus stop and the carousel. For me, I like to break that up actually into 3 different sections. So say so I'm going to the bus stop right now, and
Yep.
to improve my time, I'd be like, okay, I can break this much, deeper into the corner. Maybe say it's 6 meters or something like that, and then I could pick up the gas here and then work my way into the carousel. And so I'd be like, okay, in the carousel, I carry this much speed through the bus stop. Now, where can I get on the gas through the carousel, and kind of figure that out. And so kind of break it up in each section. And, Justin, our data engineer, and all of our teammates, Michael, I learned so much from driving with Michael, and it's been great. And so, you kind of go over data afterward, and you're like, oh, wow, I can break this, here, or I can, I'm breaking too deep here because I can't carry enough speed out of the corner. And so it's definitely learning those kinds of things and putting them into action as soon as possible.
And like would you say, I know for sure for me, I spun out, feeling like what you feel through a corner helps you understand what you should do the next time around?
Yeah.
Right? So you do a corner,
sure.
You're like, I felt like I could do this better, right? And then you try to do that thing, right?
Yeah. For example, I've been playing on Bathurst with the V8 supercar, and if you miss the apex by a couple inches, you got to get so close to the wall, and it's kind of like learning those little techniques, on iRacing. And so like when you go through, I guess a great example would be the corkscrew at Laguna Seca.
Okay.
There's like a very fine line between going too fast through there and being too slow. It's kind of balancing out where you can how fast you can go without making a mistake, and you don't want to be too slow through there either. And so it's a very fun corner.
I feel that's correct. And would you also say, like, I use this as well besides feeling in a car of how you're doing the line, is the delta on your dash, right? Like the time gain loss, the information in numbers that shows you how fast you are compared to you were to that corner before, right? That's really useful, right?
It's extremely useful. It's funny because we were just talking about that, and because we turned it off here for this session, and we're like, it's hard to reference yourself where you are, where you're going. And so it's like I just put it off track right now because I wasn't.
Yeah, I've already crashed twice. Have you crashed yet?
I haven't crashed yet.
Oh man, see, endurance racing, I'm like more of the sprint racing style, like going for it. You're like you're already like a lap ahead because you didn't crash, even if you, let's say, were slower by like a couple of tenths. Doesn't matter,
what's been
man.
your best time?
Okay, yeah. So I'm like all over it. It says best is 1:37.8, man. What are you like 1:20?
No, I'm at 1:31.
Oh, I gotta get to 1:31. Okay, I'm gonna try one lap. Okay. What else? Yeah, for me, like in addition to like driving, in the way that you just said with the reference and on your dash and looking at those numbers, like, okay, like I can improve there because I was a half a second slower or whatever. Besides the feeling, I don't know about you, like really take a lot of time before the race weekend. I feel like that's where honestly most of the work comes from is before the race weekend and studying the track in a really specific way to visualize it so much that when you're at the track, you're just executing. It's like just another thing you've done, it's say like weeks before you've visualized the track in a way that you wanted, you felt it out, you've thought of all the different scenarios. That's what I try to do. I don't know about you. And just because like, when you go to the track, there's not much time. And like, I feel like with IMSA, like though there is a lot of time, it's not, right? There's a lot of cars, there's a lot of chaos. And just I use the mentality of like, get all the work done before. And then when you show up at the track, your job's already done. You're just executing. You're just doing all the scenarios that you thought of,
Exactly. I think that, you're probably one of the best. And I've learned from Michael and being able to prepare for the track and notes and previous, years being at that track, using those references and kind of putting all the tools you have in your head together before the race weekend and really being organized and prepared and ready. And so
Yep.
that's something I've definitely tried to get better at and learning how to do. And it's very, very smart and very good to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't really know this, but I feel like you can get it done however you want. Maybe some drivers take a lot of notes. Maybe some drivers, I got 2 seconds. I'm at a 135. I'm catching you, man. Still got like 3 seconds to go. But I feel like there's a lot of different approaches. But for me, at least, like that note taking, very methodical, like very detailed way of doing it has really helped. But then again, sometimes like I go too hardcore, and I need to like take a step back. So at least for me at least, I know that point sometimes, and I'll just be like, no, I'm good. Like I understand what I need to do. I'll take a deep breath and just let it roll. Let my feelings take over. Like it's in more instinct driving sometimes. But yeah, the preparation thing that has helped me so much throughout my career. And yeah, it's cool to hear that you're stoked on it. And yeah, it's really fun, by the way, racing with you, Mason, because you're like so dedicated. Like you're racing nonstop on iRacing. Like you were telling me, like you're trying to sign up for all these races recently. You're doing go-karting. Like you're promoting social media like crazy for Hyundai and Brian Hurd Autosport. And it's awesome, man, to be with a teammate. Just like, Mark Wilkins, who I was co-driving with last year. He's an awesome guy. Like you're a person that like wants to win, man. You want to be out there and representing everybody in a really pro way. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, man, it's been amazing driving with you this year. And I mean, we've only had one race, but it's been great. It was great, just being on a team and driving with Harry last year, and that was a lot of fun. And we all kind of had this group, and then Ryan and Gabby this year too. They kind of fit in. It's been such a great time, and I just can't wait for the rest of the season to get started here.
So what can we tell the fans about like our race, like our next race? Kind of like, I think it's I should have looked at the dates, but it's like in July, right? Like Watkins Glen, I think.
I think it's the end of June. It's going to be the last weekend before July will be our race at Watkins Glen. It's going to be a 4-hour event again, just like Daytona was, and so Daytona was a great race for us, and really want to go for that win at that Watkins Glen, and just can't wait to get back behind the wheel again. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, yeah, for sure, man. Like, yeah, we had a good race at Daytona. Like, and it's fun racing these long 4-hour race long, 4-hour long events, because you just get a lot of driving, huh? Like, Daytona was 4 hours. Watkins is also 4, which are only 2 of the 4-hour races we do all year. We usually do 2-hour races. So yeah, I can't wait to get back. So you said end of June, right, for the fans? So if you're there, if hopefully this crisis is, pandemic is over or at least slowing down, if you're able to make it to Watkins Glen, please check us out. IMSA is cool in that, like, the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series, even like the other paddock with the prototypes and GTE cars and stuff like that, are really open to the fans. Like, you can come up to our cars, ask us questions about it, like see them, basically almost touch them, huh?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, where can you find us in the meantime? Like, where can we be found in terms of I guess I'm basically saying on iRacing, like if somebody wants to watch a race that we're doing, like how do they see it, or what are we doing?
I just did a 130, by the way.
Dude, okay, I'm not gonna talk this lap, and I'm gonna try, and then you answer that question.
You can find us. We'll be posting on social media, and so make sure you check out Michael on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and I'll be posting some stuff on social media, kind of figuring out what when we are racing and everything like that. We'll be doing some IMSA online races here, and that'll be a lot of fun, and might start live streaming a few too. You never know. So should be a good time. And I have one more question for you, Michael, before we end this.
I'll try to answer. I'm doing a good lap, man. I'm up 4:10, sector 1. Okay, go.
What I got to distract you, that way you don't beat my time, otherwise I'll feel bad. But what do you do physically? Physical training. While you're here, I know you do a lot of mountain biking and things like that. And, one thing you guys should know about Michael is that he's extremely fast at running. I can try running as fast as him, and it just won't work. I mean, he is insanely fast. But
I hate running. I hate it so much. That's why I'm out. I literally, like, please pick anything else. And it's like I'm like okay at it too. And it's like, all right. So I'm almost done with this lap, and then I'll answer.
Man, I lost a couple tenths that lap.
I did too there. Dang it. I think I'm gonna go it's probably like a 134 or something. if I don't like loop it here. Yeah, dude, 130, man, dude.
To be fair, I did mess with my gearing.
Oh, come on, man. I'm just out here trying to like
Do you have your
have my
push
like
pads
brand new
on?
setup, not crash. Oh, he's coming around the last turn, doesn't cake the wall.
I set up my setup like a week ago, so I have like a week
132,
on
bro. I'm
practice.
okay with that.
Oh, dude, you're ripping.
I'm okay. I got 2 seconds to go. Okay, to answer your question, I guess look at the camera for this one. I'll like go back to pit lane, reset, virtual reset. There we go. What do I do physically to train? Okay, so normally when you have access to a gym and let's say trails that are open all the time, I think they're open right now, but I do a lot of cardio. Like I do a lot of mountain biking because it's like for me the hardest thing. Like when I do a mountain bike ride, like a long one, like for a lot of elevation, right? Like I'm going for elevation, get your heart rate going, and then also when you go downhill, you have a chance to rest, but then you're going right back uphill. So I like the mountain biking for the way that it gives me a really good cardio. When I do like a long or good ride, I feel destroyed, and it's like the same feeling I would get from driving, in a long like IMSA race, like when you get really hot, and plus it's hot here in Southern California, so the heat gets me used to the heat. I don't know if I don't know if it like makes you better at, like physiologically, like enduring heat. Maybe it does a bit when you're used to it more, but at least it gets you used to it, right? Like you're used to being in that pain and stuff. So just the mountain biking is a really good tool overall, I think, because it gives you that heat training. It's freaking hard for your cardio, right? It gives you really good recovery, so I do that a lot. And right now though, like I've been building the sim actually, so I've been kind of like not mountain biking, but I've been running because that's the easiest thing you can do. You can do that anywhere, anytime, right? You don't have to have a bike.
Yeah.
So I've been running recently, and then also focusing on upper body. Like the TCR, it's a fast car, but it's not like Indy car or anything. So if you just have like good cardio, good leg strength, good neck strength, you're okay. Generally just good upper body, but I've been recently doing more upper body just to be even better in that area, because you never know where you can be driving next. So
Yeah.
mainly a lot of cardio, Mason. And how about you? Like, what's the way you like to train if you can do it normally? And then maybe what are you doing right now during this quarantine?
Right now during this quarantine, I'm just I've been running on some trails and in neighborhood and things like that, as well as jumping on the indoor bike and kind of trying to get my heart rate up as high as I possibly can while I'm trying to simulate being in a car, and doing a lot of weight training too. And after we went to Pit Fit for the Hyundai camp,
Yes.
I definitely got to learn a lot. Oh, by the way, I just did a 129.3.
Dude, just keep going, man. I'm gonna watch you.
No, you're good. I'll park it right now. But yeah, so it's been it's been a good time, and I definitely learned a lot about where I'm weak and learning what to build up on strength. And Pit Fit's
at
been
the
great for
Hyundai
help.
Pit Fit
Yeah,
training camp.
at the Hyundai Pit Fit training camp, and that was a good time. And definitely want to do another one of those, huh?
Yeah, me too. It was a fun time. You just get destroyed. You wake up, you're training, you're learning about the car, learning about yourself, learning about driving, sleep, do it again.
Yeah.
Love that. And it's important to be physically, mentally fit, right? I mean, a lot of people may not realize it, but it is actually physically hard to drive the car. Like if you were to sit next to us or even drive it yourself, you'd be like, man, like it's really hot. That's the first thing everybody says. It's freaking hot. There's no AC. Like there's not even that good at ventilation, just based on the rules of how we have to build the car. So it's hot. And then let's say it's easy to drive the car, fine, but you're so hot, you're so mentally fatigued that you can't even focus on what you're doing. So yeah, if you're training physically hard and putting your body through stress, you'll be able to drive the car. And let alone the braking, you got to push the pedal really hard. So to stop the car, if you want to stop quickly, you want to stop efficiently, you got to really slam it. So I mean, maybe people don't think we're athletes, but I believe it. I think we are. And yeah, I mean, like we were at Pit Fit, right? We're looking at these IndyCar guys train for like what they have to go through. It's just scaled up, like all that force they feel and everything. So so I think this is a pretty cool closing time here. You destroyed me on this iRacing thing. I'm gonna like finish after this video my setup here and try to get it dialed in to at least match you there, Mason. So is there anything you want to tell the fans about yourself or about what we're doing this year?
No, just definitely, follow Brian here Autosport and all the drivers on, all the social media platforms. And, I think the drivers will be coming out with a couple more of these too. And it'll be fun to get to know them as well. And, maybe follow us on some iRacing races as well. So should be good. And, I hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy out there, and, just have a good time.
Heck yeah, Mason. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for that closing statement, Mason. And yeah, guys, yeah, check us out on all that social media stuff. Thank you for your time.